So hi everybody and welcome to spiritualonline.org. My name is Roger Richards and I'm about to facilitate a session of trance where I'm going to connect with a spiritual guide and we'll have a discourse on whatever subject or content they wish to provide to us, and then I'll endeavour to take some questions from you. And what I ask is that the initial questions, if you can sort of make them a little bit relevant to the topic at first, and then we can expand a bit further out from the topic too, to cover anything of a spiritual kind of nature. We welcome you all here, my friends. You may consider me an ambassador of the spiritual world and a convener of souls in the spiritual world. And just as you have come here to hear from us, to connect with us, there are many here who seek energetically to connect with you. So in the space in which I am present, I am doing the reciprocal of your medium, and I am essentially channeling your earth medium, and through him accessing you through this divine space. And where I sit, I have my group of souls who wish to understand more about the life on earth, more about the qualities of humanity, the nature of your race, of your people, and the journey that your collective is on. And there will be souls sitting here with me, contemplating a possible sojourn into your world as an incarnated human being, either for the first time or for the first time in many millennia. And so we wish to seek an understanding or connection with your vibration, just as much as you may seek a connection from our source. And so you understand, I officiate here in this place as a high priest may have officiated in ancient Egypt in your world, through which I do have connections. And whilst my presence within the temples of ancient Egypt are not totally physical, I have projected a very strong connective presence into those places and worked in antiquity with those incarnated in them. And now working through a combination of a vortex of interdimensional space and also interdimensional time, we connect with you. And our understanding and concept of time is very different to your linear version of time. And we can sweep back and forward to this moment, re-energize it, and even reconfigure it somewhat. And having said that, one of the pathways or one of the threads that we wish to extend to you in this session is the possibility for you to work in a timeless manner, initially with yourself. And consider first of all that yes, your soul has travelled and incarnated in a linear fashion throughout your earth history. Whilst on the other hand, right here, right now in your present mind, you likewise have the capacity to journey in what you could consider a linear fashion back to certain points in your biography. And likewise, you can extend into the future points into your biography and ascertain your being with a high level of certainty as to where you would be in those times. Such ventures, we suggest, are undertaken with wisdom and with the correct intention. For if you travelled into the future and saw yourself in a place of, let's say, an ascended, elevated position, well, you would not attain that position by pure chance. It would require commitment and effort and discipline, and journeying there just to see that outcome does not replace the need for the discipline and the effort that it takes to get there. And so when you use your spiritual eyes and your spiritual vision to do such things, you must do so with the correct intent and with the correct understanding that the manifestations that you will potentially achieve upon this earth come with the effort that is required, and nothing else will suffice. And in terms of retracing back through your biography, you may address certain things within your being that may need support or healing or understanding, and by activating those at key points in your biography, you become more empowered than doing them via alternative means. And so, whilst you are conscious and physically present in this moment, you may journey back and forwards through your existences, past, present, future. For time is a form of continuum, but it is also very interlinked. And the more powerfully that you bring about the weaving patterns within your lives and your journeys, the more present you become of them, the more conscious you become of them, and the more you are able to draw upon memories, upon distant understandings and distant wisdoms. And unfortunately for people upon your planet, speaking in general terms, the frequency of your planet does deny you access to your cosmic connection. If either of you were to leave your earth and then incarnate into some of the other worlds where you have permission to do so, you would retain your cosmic connection and the infinite wisdom that comes with it. And hence, the need or the requirement for you in this world of earth, this world of soul, this world of heavier frequency. There is far more requirement upon each of you to work upon the formation of your soul. And until this point in your earth journey, the task of this has been largely carried by your angel, who weaves the substance of your astral body. But for humanity to exercise their free will, that threshold is now arising, where you step upon this threshold and through your free will choose whether you will weave your light body for your reconnection back to the cosmic world, where you can draw upon your own infinite wisdom, where you can draw upon your own infinite source, where you can draw upon your own infinite continuum of consciousness and presence, whether incarnated within a particular life on earth, or many, or sojourns to other dimensions within the universes which are one. And right now, where you sit and where you think and where you are present is just but one aspect of your consciousness within the higher, greater version of you, which is not incarnated in the seat where you sit, but remains indelibly linked to you, though your consciousness cannot access it, due to the fabrications of the frequencies around your earth, and also due to the fabrications of your physical body, which is made of dense substance of earth matter. Having said that, there are aspects of earth, particularly in your crystal kingdom, where the frequencies are much higher, and through more earth knowledge, you may utilize the powers of the crystals to elevate your frequency from your earth state. And as we have taught you recently, that may be done either with physical crystals or through those mentally evolved and created by yourselves in your meditative state. Both have similar effects. For as you know, in your earth world, your unconscious, your subconscious mind cannot discern the difference between what is real and what is imagined. But what you imagine is very real. It is very real because you can see it, you can sense it, and the reality of such is the equivalent to anything else. For anything else has originated from the source of the imagination, from thought itself. So you, where you sit, are an accumulation of thoughts. Accumulation of thought that has in part descended from the spiritual world and has also evolved from the experiences of your earthly soul, from your soul immersed in the environment of your earth and your living conditions and your interrelationships and the lenses through which you perceive the world, whether those lenses be of a rosy colour or whether those lenses be somewhat clouded, perhaps through negative earthly experiences, traumatic or otherwise. And it is also configured through the astrological configuration of which you are incarnated, through the weaving of your light bodies, the preparation of your soul from previous journeys, This all affects the way you see and interpret the environment around you, which in turn affects your thoughts and in turn is connected directly to the way you form yourself, to the way you perceive yourself, and to the way you perceive the world. So everyone's truth is different, everyone's perception is different, but neither is right nor wrong, it just is. And as a conscious, spiritual, enlightened being, you are able to assess these lenses through which you see the world, through which you receive the world, and perhaps address some of the subjective imbalances which may be circulating through you and not serving your higher good. You through a period of inner reflection, inner honesty, inner consideration, and then extend that consideration to the biography and the lenses of others who have perhaps also endured compromising situations in their journeys, which provide them only with a limited or skewed perception of reality compared to yours. And therein lies the question: where is the true balance between the two skewings of reality? And what are the different soul needs of each? And how are the soul needs or the emotional needs of each met, particularly in interrelationships? For you live in the world of soul, where emotions tend to rule the game and to rule your life. And the way you feel is often the way in which you make your decisions and judgments. If you can change and monitor the way you feel, the way you think, and the way you decide changes accordingly. And then if you understand the way someone else feels and why they feel that way and why they perceive the world that way, your feelings may change accordingly. And so your life will change because of your understanding and empathy for another human being. And the question then arises, are you a being of love, compassion and understanding, or you a being of some other nature? And this is one of the foundations through which we would ask you to base your life. For you are all interconnected, and as you raise the frequency of yourself, or through that of your partners or friends or family, etc., you raise the whole frequency of the planet on which you live and effectively throw others a lifeline and effectively throw others a light line. Possibility to rise above circumstances because of your effort to do so provides impetus for others like a magnetic field. In your own striving, your own effort to be a better, more compassionate, understanding, loving person is a potent substance which gives food to the souls and the subconscious minds of others. And so the whole world may be transformed by one. And you may be the one to start that domino effect, where one listens and understands another, responds differently, develops a will to live in a way that is understanding, listening, and receptive, like the intelligent, responsive universe. For you are part of the intelligent, responsive universe, and you are just that if you choose. And if you would like to live in an intelligent, responsive, and loving universe, then it is for you to create exactly that and have dominion over your life, dominion over your world, dominion over your journey, and be a light source of becoming for others. And I will pause at this time for you to reflect on any questions that you may have.
No questions from anyone? Eileen? Montserrat? Put them in the chat if you can, if you do have a question.
I'd like you to consider your feet and the way your feet are connecting you to Earth. Right now, how they feel. And now consider your head and the energy of your head compared to the energy of your feet. And so there is a bridge between them. And when you understand both and the connection to Earth and the connection to Spirit through your head, you'll be able to find a way to harmonize all that lies in between. Was there a question, Pamela?
There isn't a question from anyone at this point.
Okay.
Paris Mari, do you have a question? No, no questions, Roger.
Could I just ask you to mute yourself once more? Now, hopefully, all of you have your eyes closed. I want you to imagine that you are sitting in a place of light. And from where you are sitting, there is a part of you, your soul aspect, that is floating and elevating in towards a light source. So allow yourself to be floating like you're floating up through the light in the top of your sacred space. But without traveling, say, through distance, you are traveling, say, through frequency, just going up finer and finer, traveling up and up, finer and finer. Just keep going up. You may sense the change of colour. Eventually bring your place to a place of serenity, where there are subtle, moving colour, soft light, a sense of peace and serenity. You may just feel a sense of spiraling where you are. Now, though you may not have spiritual vision, I want you to imagine that you are joining in circle with others of your group. And then within the center of your circle is like a light source. And within that light source are each of us from the spiritual world. And now this light source is shining, it is building, and the light is changing it, but it is now surrounding you. And we are all now embraced within this different light. And within this light is the presence of your souls. And through the presence of your souls, those in my group may commune a little bit more closely with you and understand. some of the difficulties and challenges that you have individually and collectively in your world. And we are studying and ascertaining the different colours, the different energies of the demands that are placed upon you by your world, by your society, by the necessity for you to even sustain yourselves in your world. And now we're looking at the way you think, the way your minds are allowed to think, and the ways that your minds are perhaps directed or restricted in certain ways, whether by the busyness of your lives or by what is programmed into your environment by other sources. And if you permit us, we may also experience aspects of your emotions. And through the emotions, we get to see a different kind of existence. And it may be uncomfortable for some of us to experience human emotions, perhaps not so much in their heights, but perhaps so more in their depths. One thing we are concerned about as we circulate through you is literally the air in which many of you are breathing. And we want you to take some consideration and take some time for each of you to ensure that you are breathing in quality, pure air, which in your cities is very difficult, but find places in dense nature where your air is uncontaminated. And as you do so, the availability of spiritual connection in the air is more fluid. And as your air becomes perhaps more polluted or filled with dust or other pollutants, your connection with spirit is likewise blocked or filtered, is more difficult for the sublime high frequencies of spirit which are in your earth air to penetrate through dust and other things that have been introduced to it. And we can say the same about the fluids which you drink. Pure water still contains pure essence of spirit and of earth. Purify what you take into your body if you seek the spiritual connection. Consider now the thoughts that you take into your mind, for you have free will what you take into your mind. And if you exercise the free will of allowing higher frequency thoughts to pervade, then so will your higher frequency pervade. And if you allow the negative thoughts to pervade, in all their varieties and complexities, so will your vibration respond accordingly. And as mentioned, it is often mind over matter. And if you require healing of any nature, yes, there are physical medicines available to you for sure. but there are also spiritual, energetic, and other remedies available, some of which we have provided to you through these sessions. And some of those who sit in this circle with me in the spiritual world have provided these activities, these exercises, and visualizations for you in our collective. I would also like you to understand that where we sit in our temple of light, many of us are residing in very distant places from this temple of light, but we are each projected here, just as you have now elevated yourselves here. However, without the density and the filtration of the earth frequencies, those of us from the higher dimensions are able to do this more fluidly, more clearly, more potently. That we can congratulate each of you for the free will and the exercise that you have taken to be here. And it would be even more difficult for us to project ourselves to this level from your earth plane than it is for you are more conditioned to your life in that place. Now I return once more to any potential questions.
I'll ask one, Roger, on behalf of the group. If it comes to relationships and when we are in a disharmonious relationship or whatever the situation is, how can we respond in a more loving way in that moment?
Okay. This occurs in different ways. Most paramount here is for you, with a sense of humility, first of all, to love yourself, to understand your frequency, your vibration, your holy temple, and to ensure that your temple flame is kept alight for you to work as a light worker within your world. And no one in your world has the right to extinguish or compromise that flame. You are the keeper of that flame, and you must tend to that flame fervently. You understand your flame, you understand the strength of it and the persistence of it. And with that in mind, the capacity of your flame, then you may, first of all, with love, consider yourself, consider any of your own limitations in this regard. Work within yourself to begin with. For if you do not work within yourself and develop the momentum of that natured energy, how would you expect anyone else to? And so it is the principles of alchemy. Work upon yourself with your free will, work with honesty, work with humility, and work with the intention of you becoming the best you, whilst maintaining your temple light. And as that momentum builds, then the bridge for you to extend across to helping your friends or loved ones, the bridge is wider, it is stronger, and you will also have a clearer understanding of the challenges therein. And the people you deal with have complete free will, whether to respond, to change, to listen, to hear. And many of you do have soul connections and contracts and undertakings that you have brought into this world. And yes, it is for you to honour those contracts to the best of your abilities. But it is not there, it is not the role of these contracts or these arrangements to extinguish or compromise your flame and your own personal journey. And it is for your call as to when you believe or sense such contracts or soul arrangements are fulfilled, and also the manner in which they may be fulfilled. And sometimes such learnings and life lessons occur in very close proximity to another person, and sometimes they are learned with some distance and some out-breathing, and then maybe with another in-breath. And so consider the breathing of the relationship. Consider how even in the evolution of humanity, there are times of growth and evolution, and then there's time of rest and sleep. And so that may also be the case with an interpersonal relationship. You allow it to live and breathe and grow and to sleep, to have its peace and to have its activity. And if you can look at the breathing and the rhythm that is either absent or within a relationship, then you can work with that rhythm as well. There's always your dignity, there is always your patience, there is always your understanding and your empathy. And it is also for you to be clear within yourself as to your life purpose and to your sense of responsibility to self and others. Find the balance and the harmony within that. And we can say to you with truthfulness that if your intentions are high, the decisions are not important, but it is the journey and the progress that one makes with the highest intent in their lives. And what is good for one may not be good for the many, and what is good for the many may not be as good for the one. I know they are complex questions and trade-offs, but they are the aspects to consider. And the point here is the journey of understanding, the journey of developing empathy and compassion, and also having clarity in your life and your life purpose. If you wish to ask any more questions on this, you are more than welcome to, my friend.
Any more questions? Anyone?
Hi, I have a question. Thank you so much for coming here to share with us such wonderful knowledge, wisdom. I'm just wondering whether we're able to travel backwards and forwards into our past selves or future selves. Is there a way for us to do this?
Yes, there is. And it is really a matter of the intent to do so. And as we have opened up this group in a way that is perhaps sacred and reverent. You can do this now as an example. If your eyes are closed and the light is around you, or you put yourself into a state so that the light is around you, and then you can literally open up the doorway, or you can sense the doorways, and you can ask the question, where is the doorway to that past life that I may work with that will be of assistance to me and to my pathway? And then you may enter through that doorway through your mind and explore where it takes you. If you do it on this level, you'll be taken only to those lives through which you have the ability to safely go. For within some of your lives, you have experienced great loss and great trauma, and it is incumbent upon you that you may develop the skill to negotiate those revisitations safely, and then return stronger and more wise and more understanding of them. So is a skill level required, a technique level required that you must consciously carry into those lives to return in a better, more fortified soul state. So your intentions are most important. And as mentioned, you will be led only to those situations which at first you will be able to safely navigate. And it is up to you to invoke those conditions and state your intention, your clear intention before traveling there. And it is just through your practice and reapplication, complemented by your other spiritual work, that will bring more clarity and more depth to such visitations, forward and backward, and in your present, which is also perhaps the most important for being in the life that you're in right now, for you to skate through a day or through a moment and miss the lesson, miss the gleaning of wisdom. That is perhaps where your focus could be for now. And through the microcosm of your day, of your current present day, is a microcosm of your past lives as well. And you can find many of the answers that you seek through a critical analysis and view of your activities, decisions, responses, reactions in your present day, and then work accordingly. I hope that helps, my friend. There are others in this group who can assist you with these visitations.
Thank you.
Now, generally speaking, those of you who are on the road of healing modalities, we implore you that whichever modality it may be, to work in earnest with it. And it doesn't mean that right here, right now, you have to heal people of tragic diseases or restore lives, etc. But you're gradually building the powers of restoration and also retrieval of many who are lost. And quite often, if those come to you with physical sickness, it is not the physical sickness that you need to heal, but the soul. If you learn to heal the trauma of the soul, the physical sickness will take care of itself. But one little word of warning for healing. The intent must be pure and high, and your so-called physical healing centers on your earth sometimes don't achieve what they may set out to do. But that too will evolve and change. But the energy and healing work that is done by the light workers will eventually provide the momentum and the change needed to perhaps what you consider your mainstream medical system. The impulse of the light workers will override that of the material minds. It will be undeniable. And if there's any final question before we resolve this conference, this meeting. Okay, we wish for you to revisit. Pamela?
No questions at this
Okay.
time.
Please remute your mic. You're in this temple with your hands in unison in a circle. Now we give acknowledgement to others in the group and to others in the celestial group. And likewise, they give acknowledgement to you. And now you release your hands, and now imagine a return, a descent through the vibration from where you originated. It is coming back down from the light source and returning back into the periphery of your room, into the light frequency of your sacred room, your sacred space. And like a cloud descending on the physical body that sits in your chair, we just once more become aware of our fingers and toes. And I just give my gratitude once more to the spiritual people who work with us. Extend my thanks and allow this separation of frequencies now.